our Seeing Eye Dog Puppy Centre. All of our puppies are born here and they're raised here until 8 weeks of age. They're born to our breeding stock. When one of the females or males is going to be used in a mating, they come here for a mating, and then the female will return when she's pregnant to the puppy centre. We have 24-hour monitoring and staffing of the bitch to make sure that everything's going well, that she's comfortable, that she's not stressed. So there's always a vet available to look after the bitches 24 hours a day. Once the pups are born, they're raised in the whelp pens until they're 3 weeks of age. At this point, they're starting to open their eyes and smell and be able to move around. The puppy centre has 2 play areas, an indoor and an outdoor play area, and lots of equipment that's different coloured, different textures, different surfaces, that makes different noises and can be moved around. So every day the puppies come out into the play area, it's a different environment for them to explore.
Welcome to the first ever Seeing Eye Dogs VIP donor and key supporter event. The space in which we're gathered is approximately 60 metres long and 30 metres wide. That enables us to work with not only our dogs and their owners, but also people who use white canes. This facility is not only for the dogs, but for anyone who is blind or has low vision.
The dogs that successfully complete the intensive one-on-one training for 5 months here have an incredibly high benchmark to meet. My instructor team works hard with them to be the best because they have to be, because these dogs are responsible for people and people's lives matter.
At about 3 weeks of age, they're really only noticing things that are on the ground. So we start to put different surfaces down for them to walk on. This will help them develop confidence on different surfaces, which is really essential for when they're going to be working as a seeing eye dog when they grow up.
I had a very dear friend in school, his name is Jay. And in school, I learned that Jay had diabetes. In college, Jay started to lose his vision, and I started to understand more about blindness, about low vision, about diabetes, and how diabetes affects the body. He went through this transformation from being a person with sight to losing his vision and ultimately losing it completely. The first thing he did was went to a facility where they teach you how to live life as a blind person. So when I went to visit Jay at the guide dog facility, and I was a banker and not loving it, I thought, wow, what a place to be. This is, to me, it was the trifecta. I got to work with animals, I got to teach, and I got to help a population. What else could there be? And that was 23 years ago. I have not mastered my job. I have yet to get bored at this job, and I have less than no desire to move on to do anything else. It's absolutely incredible and absolutely amazing. And I have my dear friend Jay to thank for that. We teach the dogs all of the skills and the fundamentals that they need. Now, if you think about the mechanics that are required to be a seeing eye dog, a lot of the things that we're asking of these dogs are not things that these dogs will naturally choose to do. So in the beginning, we just work on fundamentals. We work on getting a good relationship with the dog, teaching them how to walk in a straight line, how to do the biomechanics of turns, stopping at curbs or any elevation changes. This is Caitlin Smith. And Caitlin's going to be working with a very attractive yellow lab named Yubi. What does Yubi love to work for? Belly rubs and a sit. And then she'll do a recall. These dogs work hard and they need to be rewarded for that work. A lot of the training that we do, which is the positive reinforcement, is food-based. So she's going to do a reposition to heel where he'll just come in and step right next to her. And yay, food reward. How about applause for Yubi and his great obedience. Caitlin's going to harness Yubi up, and then she's going to do a guide work demonstration throughout our facility here. So Yubi needs to be able to stand patiently while he puts his harness on. So as she buckles the harness and directs him forward, the first thing she's going to encounter are those 3 downstairs. And it's very important that he come up to the edge of those stairs and then stop. Caitlin's going to probe out with her foot, find what it is he stopped for, reward him for stopping, and then on they go. Nice fluid movement down the stairs. Now she's asking him to locate the stairs that are behind the escalator. He will carefully guide her up the stairs. He'll stop at the next flight of stairs. Now, one of the many reasons that a dog can supersede a cane is the cane does not find things that are above your head, but Yubi does. So Yubi stops, and Caitlin's basically saying, "Hey buddy, why did you stop?" She reaches around, she finally finds that, she rewards him, he wags his tail, gets a piece of food, so that makes this the best day ever. And on they go. Now again, this little hole is too tight for them to squeeze through, so he's gonna stop and he's gonna hold his position until she finds what he stopped for. And actually he's trained so that if she didn't find it and asked him to go, he wouldn't. All right, we call that intelligent disobedience, which means you can disobey me if the mood fits. If you'll notice, the railings are different for each section of the catwalk up above. Again, he stops at the top of the stairs, has a nice tight hold, and as she directs him, down he goes. Nice, smooth, fluid rhythm. Once they get good at those basics, then we move into the more complex areas where we'll work in city environments. We'll work with pedestrians, which is the hardest clearance of all to do because a pole is in the same place yesterday, today, and tomorrow. But you pedestrians are tricky. You're unpredictable in the way you move. So we really have to teach the dogs how to watch and pay attention to how the people are moving so that they can navigate around them.
When they get a bit older, they start to look for things that they can push around and move around, like rolling toys. And then when they get even older, about 5 weeks, they start to look up and look around and see things that are up high above their head level. It's essential for them to start to notice these things. So when they're working with a client, they will need to be able to detect overhead obstacles as well.
As we train predominantly through primary reinforcement, which means you wait for the dogs to perform behaviors that you want, and then you capture and reward those behaviors. So it's very focused on positive and rewarding the dog. Now she's going to ask him to find the train door, which he does effortlessly. Wags his tail, love that. This is fun. She'll open the door, go in, and he'll be able to identify a seat. They're trained to find any empty seat, but clients, like a lot of us, can be quite creatures of habit. And so what I've seen working with clients out in the field is if somebody is in Yubi's preferred seat, he'll basically just walk up to that seat and stare at them until they finally get up and get out of his seat. Now she's going to ask him to find the escalator. Caitlin finds the rail. Now you feel the rail and make sure that it's moving away from you and not towards you. She's going to walk up, find where it starts, and they step on together. He's going to look for her and say, "How about some food?" She's going to say, "Nope." He's going to say, "Rats." Again, he targets that step. Caitlin's going to swing left. You can see he kind of paused at the top of the stairs and was waiting for a direction. Had she not given him a direction, he would have just decided one for her. And that's that initiative that we get out of these dogs that we just love, that comes from all the positive reinforcement. So Caitlin's hanging left, and this doesn't really look like a curb, but Yubi's that good, and he'll recognize that this is in fact a street crossing, and cross the street, and say hello. After the dog stops for the down curb, she's going to ask him to find the button. He's going to go, you can see him actually touching the pole, that's how we teach him, with a contact. She's going to hit her button, realign, wait for her crossing, and cross the world's shortest street crossing. The dogs get to the point where they often do learn when they hear the audible signal tick that they know it's time to go. Finally, Caitlin earned herself a cup of coffee, so she's going to ask him to find a chair. And he's going to go identify for her and wag his tail, because this is a fun game. He's really learned how to enjoy his job. And that, my friends, is Caitlin and Yubi. How about a hand for Yubi? And we can thank Caitlin as well. Through the use of positive reinforcement, we can teach the dogs that this really complicated, challenging skill is actually fun.
We're up in the kennel viewing platform, and so slightly below us are the kennels, and there are dogs in each of the kennels. We have 60 kennels in the building, and you can house 2 dogs in each kennel. This building is where the dogs stay when they're doing their formal training. They come in at approximately 12 to 15 months of age. It can depend on the dog's maturity level. And they spend approximately 4 to 6 months here being trained every day of the week by an instructor. Every dog is assigned to an individual instructor and they form a bond throughout their training.
They spend 12, 14 months in a puppy carer home, being raised and socialized to the world. And then they come in and get their 4 to 5 month intensive training program before they're trained with a client. We have a breeding program where we're looking at the genetics of the dogs and matching to produce the best dogs. Because of the complexity and the effort involved, it takes about 2 years to fully produce a seeing eye dog.
We spend a lot of time providing toys that require the dogs to use their brains to get the food out of them. And we also like to spend a lot of time with the dogs in their kennels so that they know that the kennel is a familiar and fun place to be.
You can see the time and the effort and the energy that's put into this, with that quality being the bottom line and the absolute must. You can see how demanding of a job it is and how strict our criterion has to be. All of that combined means that not every dog is able to graduate successfully. There's a huge demand for our dogs right now. So we are working hard to take steps to meet this urgent demand.
Welcome to the brand new Seeing Eye Dogs veterinary facility. Myself and our other vet are extremely fortunate to be able to work in this brand new facility that was purpose built to treat the Labradors and Golden Retrievers that will grow up to be Seeing Eye Dogs. It's a really important way for the vet team to be able to keep an eye over the health of our stock, and we're able to treat them in a way that will have the best chance of them graduating to become Seeing Eye Dogs. Here behind me is the surgery room. We do all of the desexing surgeries for our dogs here. We also have an on-site x-ray facility, and we x-ray all of the dogs' hips and elbows before they start training to make sure they're not carrying any conformational issues that will limit their working career. We also do a lot of reproduction work here because the breeding program is based on strong understanding of the genetics in our stock. If we can bring the puppy here to treat the dog here, then we can generate savings, and those funds can then be reinvested into training future Seeing Eye Dogs.
Ladies and gentlemen, from all of us, thank you for your support. We look forward to seeing you on many other wonderful milestones in the future. Thank you so much.
I was really struck by the amount of investment that's gone into building this amazing facility so the dogs can live here happy and healthy, but also be really trained exceptionally well so they can be safe and long-term companion for someone and provide that assistance for them that they need.
This has surpassed anything that I expected. I'm very impressed, particularly with the train. It really looks like one of our trains.
These dogs give hope to people. It's definitely worth coming down today.
Help people out, and the end result is if someone gets some independence and mobility and freedom out of it, it's just, yeah, it's a great feeling.
The demonstration by Ubi as she went through up the escalators and everything and right through the centre was fantastic.
Continue to innovate and train in different ways to make sure you guys are delivering the best dogs that you can to support the community.
The last time I walked into an operating room was for the birth of my son, and these facilities were right up there, so very impressive.
The thing that just impressed me today is the amount of resources that are actually required in order to deliver the service that we know as Seeing Eye Dogs. It's incredible.
I just so look forward to my volunteer days. It's just, you know, you come to work and you just hang out with dogs. Nothing can be finer.
Well worth the money, and I'm so pleased to be able to contribute to it.
They're all beautiful and I would lovingly take them home in my backpack in a second if I could.